Unmute.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Is everybody ready?
Ready. Yes.
Okay, I think at this session, there gonna be 7 presenter or 6 presenter. Mbak LO, would you please inform me how many people will be present today for this session?
In the first session will be 8 presenters.
For this session?
Yes.
8 presenter, okay. So, for the first presenter, okay. Before we start for the presentation, I will inform you about the regulation. So everybody will get around 10 minutes for present your paper, and all the presenter will be present first, and then question and answer will be following after all the presenter present the paper. Okay. So everybody ready? I hope everybody ready. We start from the first presenter, Satyaning Budi, with paper ID number 130, with the paper title, Railway Capacity Analysis Using Indonesian Method and UIC Code 405 method. Yeah. Okay, the LO will be inform you if reach the limit. If your time will reach the limit, okay? Satyaning Budi, now is your turn. Only 10 minutes for present your paper, and then following with Christian Gerard Daniel, and then continuing with Ana Agung Gede Kartika, and then Rumainur Ismi, following with Puspita Dewi, and then Sutoyo, and then Akbar Bayu Kresno, and the last presenter is Michael Kasa. Okay, let's start with the first presenter, Satyaning Budi. Now is your turn.
Okay, thank you for the time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm Wahyu Satyani Budi. I am a civil engineering student at Institute Technology of 10 November Surabaya. And And today I'm going to talk about our paper entitled Railway Capacity Analysis using Indonesian method and UIC code for all five methods. And for the first, we will discuss about the introduction. Okay, a new infrastructure project such as improving the track from single to double track is also one of solution increasing connectivity and also it to improve railway operation performance. And the government has been constructing double track at Surabaya Madiun segment, whereas Jombang Madiun segment has begun operating. Concerning in this condition, it's necessary to analyze how the capacity will be affected when the double track being operation. But nowadays, Indonesia use Indonesian method and it only provides railway capacity analysis for fixed block. And it uses three variables as input in the capacity calculation, which is the total time a day, which is 1,440 minutes, headway, and the multiplier factor. And another method in railway capacity analysis, namely UIC, provides a formula which has different variables. There are five variables as input in the capacity calculation, which are reference time, average minimum headway, additional time due to the number of intermediate blocks, and additional time due to maintenance, which is different by its utilization. So considering this condition, it is necessary to analyze using both methods and also it could be a preliminary study on the railway capacity method in the next near future, especially for the analytical method. So this is the experimental objective of our study. The length of this segment is around 152 kilometers and consists of 23 stations starting from Surabaya Gubeng station to Madiun station. So this is this data source and the data uses in this study only secondary data. This secondary data obtained from related institution including from PT KAI, DAOP or Daerah Operasional 8 Surabaya and DAOP 7 in Madiun. For the detailed data function can be seen in this table. There are GBK, signaling and block system, track system, signal service time, rolling stock data, travel time, and train speed. So, but in this study, theoretical and practical capacity analysis is carried out. Theoretical capacity is the number of operating trains during a certain time interval using a maximum speed, and for practical capacity is the actual traffic volume condition, which is calculated using realistic assumption. There are cross and overtake situation. So this is the first method that we use in our study. This is Indonesian method. There are several variables. For the first is total time, average headway, the multiplier factor after deducting time factor for maintenance due to the operating pattern of train travel. For a single track is 60% and for the double track is 70%. And next variable is travel time on the track section. And for other variables, travel time for the side point of the outer signal to the station and signal and block service time. And for equation 1 is a formulation that applies to a single track system. And equation 2 is a formulation used for the double track system, while equation 3 is the headway calculation. But for equation 3 is the main formula to calculate headways of Indonesian method. But the headway calculation of Indonesia method more simplified. It is divided based on track system and block system with the value of several variables being determined. And for the first step is should be headway calculation. And this is the second method of our study is UIC code 405 method. And there are variables. Uh, there are reference time, average minimum headway, additional time due to the maintenance difference by its utilization, normal operation, and the applicable during peak hours. And the next variable is additional time based on the number of intermediate blocks. Same as the Indonesian method, this method also requires headway to analyze railway capacity. At single track system, headway will be affected by travel time, acceleration and deceleration times, and signal service time. Whereas the double track system, the headway will be affected by block length, train length, and signal service time, and also the speed. So, for the result and discussion, for the analysis was performed on the existing condition with two assumptions that are full single track condition which reflects KPK 2017 and 1500% double track condition which reflect KPK 2019. So this is the graph of railway capacity Indonesian method based on KPK's 2017. We can see that the largest capacity based on this KPK and this method is located in Surabaya Gubeng Wonokromo segment, and the average particle capacity based on this KPK and this method for the Indonesian method is 89 trains per day. And this is the result of railway capacity analysis using UIC code based on KPK 2017. And also the largest capacity of this method is located in Surabaya Gubeng Wonokromo segment, and the average practical capacity based on this KPK and this method is 73 trains per day. And the next is second assumption with 50% double track with this Indonesian method and based on KPK 2019. The largest capacity based on this method and this KPK is located in Sukomoro Nganjuk Station segment with the average practical capacity is 159 trains per day. And this is the result of railway capacity analysis using UIC code based on KPK 2019, and there's also the largest capacity is located in Sukomoro and the Nganjuk Station segment, and the average practical capacity based on this KPK and this method is 96 trains per day for the UIC code method. And based on this graph, can be known that there are railway capacity increment in Jombang Madiun. And the railway capacity increment is due to the double track operation, and it's also caused by the replacement of the signaling block system. Moreover, it is affected by the Wilangan station that turns into an intermediate block. So this is the conclusion, or first, the result of Railway capacity analysis using these two methods indicate an improvement in railway capacity because of double track construction in Surabaya-Madiun segment. One of the different variables is additional time due to maintenance, which is different based on utilization. Its utilization in the UIC method is different based on its operational condition by peak and non-peak hours or normal. That may also
I think the
affect.
time is up.
Yeah.
Can you a bit faster, please?
Oh yeah, yes, ma'am. And for this study implies that UIC method could be a relevant comparison method to the existing condition. However, it could be used as a preliminary study recommendation for policymakers to analyze capacity in the next near future. Furthermore, regardless of a method will be applied in the next near future, safety must be considered more. And that's all. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Thank you, Wahyu Setianing Budi, for your present. And then now is following with the second presenter is, so sorry, double check this. Christian Gerard Daniel with the title Assessing the Mechanical Property of Method Hot Recycle and Warm Mixed Asphalt Using Aramid Polytechnic by West and Dry Process, a review. Is it Christian Gerard Daniel?
Yes, I am.
Ready? Okay.
Yeah, I am.
Would you please, if there is any question, would you please put in the for all the audience, if you have any question, please put your question in the chat room, okay? And then we will following the question and answer at the end of the at the end of the session before after all the presenter present. Okay, Christian, now it's your turn for 10 minutes. And the host, the LO will be inform you if the time less than just less 50 seconds.
Okay, I hope you can see my screen now.
Yeah, I can see your screen, but your sound is very
So you
small.
cannot hear me now, can you?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah. Can you a bit?
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's now better.
Okay, great. So, hello, good day, everyone. My name is Gerald. I am a lecturer in Pelita Harapan University in Tangerang. And in this moment, I would like
Could you please
to...
a bit loud, please?
Okay, let me
Louder,
change.
please. Yeah.
Let me change my microphone then. Wait, can you hear me better now? Hi.
Okay, let's okay.
Is it better now?
Yeah, better lah. It's not that loud,
Okay,
but I think it's better than before. Okay.
Let me try another way then. Wait. Things like this could happen, so... Wait a moment. Am I speaking now?
Yeah. Okay. I think it's better you start now because I'm afraid.
Okay, so, well, now I'm going to present my paper with the title of Assessing the Impact of Incorporation of Aramid Polyethylene to both hot, recycled, and warm asphaltic mix using dry and wet process. Half of the data is centralized in Java and Sumatra, so we can imagine that the amount of road is not really well spread throughout the nation. And again, we can see the growth, which are both exponential, but the amount of the vehicle outgrows the amount of road. So that's why we might see some kind of traffic jam in the large cities because of this. And to our understanding, based on compiled data, to produce 1 ton of asphaltic pavement, we will require the energy consumption of the level of 4.4 gigajoule, and we will emit around 300 kilogram of carbon dioxide for 1 ton of production. If it's not significant enough, let's do some simplified calculation. In 1 year, 2014 to 15, we can estimate that the amount of developed road in that year is 20,000 kilometers of length. And by doing some rough estimation of the weight of the vehicle, we can estimate that and it will produce more than 6 million ton of carbon dioxide, which is basically the reason why our construction practice is not really considered as eco-friendly, and that therefore we need new technologies to make sure that our practice is more and more sustainable and more environmental friendly. One of the approach is, well, to do warm mix asphalt, to perform warm mix asphalt, which is basically the normal one, but produced at the lower temperature at 100 to 140 degrees Celsius. And several benefits are to reduce fuel consumption, reduce energy consumption, and also to create a better health exposure to the worker because of the less heat and the less emission of carbon dioxide. We also have longer window of compaction. We can compact more in a day, basically. It's beneficial for us, but the performance of both types, both warm mix and also hot mix, remain our major concern. We still have crack, we still have problems with moisture damage, we still have problems with rotting, permanent deformation. And one of the solutions, there are for sure many solutions, but one of them is by adding polymer to our asphalt. And among the most popular types of polymer, we have aramid, polyolefin, and PET. I will explain all of them now. For aramid, it's a condensation. It's a result of condensation process from two monomers. And then we can trace it back to 1930s until now under the brand of Kevlar, the most notable one. And these are several of mechanical properties. It's insensitive to temperature, which means it can really work in the extreme temperature, more than 200 degrees, for instance. And move to polyolefin. It's basically the normal plastic product that we use. We have polyethylene and polypropylene as the branch of polyolefin. And within the polyethylene itself, PE, we have also high density, HDPE, and the low density, or LDPE. We can trace it back to 19th century until now. And these are the characteristics of both LDP, PE and PP polymer. And the last one is PET. While it is not necessarily it doesn't belong to the class of polyolefin, but it also shares the same monomer, ethylene glycol. So that's why, and it is also a really popular product we use nowadays. So that's why I include it within this paper. And we might know it with another name, not only PET, but polyester. But the term polyester is mainly used in fashion products, whereas the other industries will use the term PET, or polyethylene terephthalate. These are the mechanical properties. And how to include them within our mixture? We have wet and dry method. With wet method, basically we will create the polymer modified bitumen, or PMB, whereas using the dry method, we could create either fiber reinforced mixture, or we could substitute the aggregate partially. This is the schematic. For the wet method, basically we have A, B, and D, which means that the neat bitumen will be mixed with reclaimed polymer, and then the modified bitumen will be mixed with aggregate. Whereas the other one, the dry method, both are mixed simultaneously, so not the bitumen mixed with polymer first. And the question is, what are the effects of both methods? Let's dive into it. The first one is with the wet method. Using polyethylene and polypropylene, we can see that the penetration is decreased, by more than 60% or around 60% by PE and PP respectively. Both indicate the quite similar performance. Also with the softening point, PE, PE modified bitumen is maybe more beneficial, but it's just a slight improvement, more than 50 and 40 to 50%. And the effect of both modifications last up to only around 7% in both cases, beyond which the effect starts to deteriorate. You cannot really see the improvement anymore. And one thing to be taken into account, we have a phenomenon like this, polymer binder separation. The highlighted one is the polymer. It cannot disperse entirely inside our binder or bitumen because of the differences in density, and they don't have a really strong bonding, chemical bonding. So that's why this could happen. That's why we need to stir it constantly, and it's not thermodynamically stable, thermodynamically unstable, and it is kinetically stable if we stir it constantly. And to combat this, we have some additives such as natoclay, maleic anhydride, which is a polymer also, etc. But it's still not an affordable method. That's why the price of the PMB product is quite significantly huge than the other peers. What about PET? Basically, they are the same also with stiffness and more tensile strength, reduced permanent deformation, and the effect lasts until 6%. So it's quite the same, 6 and 7% within the PET, PE, or the PP as well. And one more thing is there is an increase of the moisture susceptibility for all the polymers, which indicate a more risk to moisture damage. What about dry method now? I haven't mentioned aramid yet because it has a high melting temperature, which means that it cannot just melt inside the bitumen using wet method. So it reacts more as a mechanical reinforcement using the dry method. And by combining aramid and polyolefin, we could have something like this. Stiffness and strength basically increases. And the effect is more obvious at high frequency loading, indicate a better performance maybe at high traffic. And also it is more apparent at high temperature, where the bitumen becomes more at the viscous state so that the fiber could react better than the previous stage. And this is for hot mix asphalt. What about warm mix asphalt? We can see here also the stiffness, strength, and fatigue life increases. Permanent deformation is decreased, which also indicates the increase of stiffness. And the interesting phenomena is that a high dosage indicates more improvement, and also the length of fiber have a significant contribution to the improvement. As we can see here, the longer fiber, which in this case was 38 millimeters length, is more beneficial than the shorter one at the same dosage, which
Your
is
time
19
only
millimeters.
less than minute, 1 minute.
Okay, and again, the effect is apparent at high temperature. And if we try to compare the performance of reclaimed asphalt, RIP, in hot mix, and warm mix, the result is in contrast. You can see that the fatigue life of the mixture is increasing at high strain level for warm mix, whereas it was in contrast within the RIP, hot mix asphalt. And this is the result of PET within the dry method. And the more interesting one is how the mechanism is. Within the dry method, when we try to pull the sample and we zoom in, we can see something like this. The fiber will be pulled out, which means there is an interaction, which are more temperature, both temperature and frequency dependent, frequency of the load dependent. It has an interface bonding, both mechanical and chemical, between the fiber and the water matrix or Baltic matrix. And there is a load transfer thanks to the network of the fiber between the fiber matrix and another fiber. So those are basically the reinforcing mechanisms. These are the conclusions. The wet method, we have polymer modified bitumen. The dry method, we could have the reinforcing fiber or partial aggregate substitution. Then in the effects are to increase softening point, reduce flow of the bitumen, increase stiffness, fatigue life, increase strength, and reduce rotting, or basically the increase of stiffness in both hot and warm mixture. There is a risk of segregation in PMB case due to the difference in density and in the weak bonding between bitumen and polymer, therefore constant stirring is necessary, and it's thermodynamically unstable but kinetically stable. And also we could have binding agent or additives. And the most highlighted term is that benefit lasts only until a certain limit, as we have seen, beyond which
Christian, time is up.
Okay,
Is it quite many? Okay, great. Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm done
Okay.
also.
Okay. So just okay. Now is continuing with the third presenter, Ana Agung Gede Kartika, where the title is the modeling of volume and duration of vehicle parking for shopping area in Surabaya, Indonesia. Okay. 10 minutes for your presentation time. Now is your turn.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good day, and Assalamualaikum for everybody. My title for this paper is the modeling of volume and duration of vehicle parking for shopping store in Surabaya, Indonesia. This is the idea, the basic idea of why I take this title, because many of local authorities has the revenues coming from the one of the revenue is coming from the
I think it's better
parking.
you doing the slideshow for your present. So for your
Yes. Okay. Here, this one, and then meanwhile in order to get the prediction, there is still lack of methods in predicting the number of vehicle in parking, and also uh, the the parking tax in in such a facility. For example, in this case, in this paper is I am taking the shopping store for the case, and then this is the basic idea. So basically, we need to collect the information regarding the volume and also the duration of the parking vehicle, because when we are applying uh, the tariff for the passive tariff, we need the duration in order to get the tariff proportionally. This is the background of the study. Okay, firstly, this is the lack of method in terms of calculating the parking, and also the absence of the system to estimate the potential parking revenue. Due to this following reason, this one is I can identify the factors that influence the potential parking revenue. The first is the real number of parked vehicles is not yet recorded entirely. Means not all the parking facility in Surabaya is recorded. So many parking facility in Surabaya is not registered yet. And then second, in the site, the parking charge of vehicle is not applied consistently. I mean, here is in fact we experience the progressive tariff applied, while according to the regulation in Surabaya or many city in Indonesia, there is no parking charge for the progressive tariff. So this is the potential revenue for the city actually. And then third, the the progressive tariff is applied in some facility, which make parking duration is important. And then the fourth year, there is no guidance regarding the collecting parking tax for both on-street and off-street parking. And the fifth year is the variation of land use influencing the parking characteristic, because the malls, hospitals, education facility will produce different characteristic of the parking facilities. And six is the numbers of non-registered parking facilities are identified due to the development of the city. Seven is many free parking facility in both government office and private facilities still charge parking free to all users. This is can be found when we are entering the parking facility that should be free, but in fact we are still pay for charging. This is beyond the supervising of the parking institution authorities. And then the goals of this paper is, of course, we are trying to help local authorities in order to predict the number of parking vehicles as well as the number of revenue that produced by the parking activity. How are we doing that? Of course, we are doing by creating the model for the volume as well as the model for the duration. The parking volume is important when the tariff is not based on the progressive tariff, but when the progressive tariff is applied, the parking volume, the duration will be important, the duration. This is the method of basic method of our analysis here. First, we collect the data. In this case, in this paper, we collect the data for the shopping stores, 3 shopping stores in Surabaya. And then we doing the analysis for the technical parking variable, including duration, index parking, and then turnover, dynamic capacity, and also the volume. And then we are doing the regression test.
Your time only lasts 3 minutes, so
okay.
would you please be faster?
Okay. This one, we check the VIF value if it is bigger than 10, and usually it's bigger than 10 because the variable is connecting each other. So we will use the principal component analysis. This is the result for the parking. This is from Central Business Park MER. We have the table 1 and table 2 for this one is average parking percent duration, average parking duration, and the parking volume. This one is the duration group. We have A, B, C, D, E here is one. A is mean when the duration is below 10 minutes. Why below 10 minutes? Because we apply the situation that when people parking not more than 10 minutes, they will pay for nothing. In this case, it's free. So we have the class interval like this. And this one is data for data analysis for the Darmo Galeria Majen Sungkono. And this one is Sentra Fortuna Daksa Agung Suprapto. And for the input, we have the input of the parking volume model. We divided into 2 type of the day, weekday and weekend, and 2 type of vehicle, car and motorcycle. And then this one is input for parking duration is a little bit messy here. Okay, this one is Zoom. So this is also divided into two types of vehicle. In this case, is car and motorcycle, and also divided into 2 types of days, which is weekday and weekend. And then this is the result, the module volume. We can use the model for volume for car for weekend by using
1
the
minute
regression
left.
component analysis, car, weekend and weekday, motorcycle, weekend and weekday. And also this one is for car or the model duration, and this one is model duration for motorcycle. And this is the discussion. Okay, this is the illustration for the utilization of the model. This is suppose we have 220 vehicle. So the tax must be paid for to the government must a year on will cover 100 thousands, yeah, 100 billion, 100 billion. This is only for the vehicle and only for car and only for uh, weekdays. So we can calculate for weekend and other vehicle. Thank you.
Thank you, Kartika. And then would you please close your presentation paper, please?
Yeah.
And then now is the fourth person is Romainur. Is it any Romainur or Huzaini or Isha? Anyone? Okay, which means I haven't arrived yet. Okay, and then continuing with Puspita Devi with ID number 136 and paper title Intercity Dwell Time Estimation by Using Robust Regression Method. Are you ready, Puspita?
I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, now it's your turn, 10 minutes. Okay, and then we will inform you if 3 minutes left and 1 minute left.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the time. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Puspita Dewi. I'm a master's student at Institut Teknologi 10 November in Civil Engineering Department. Today, I will present about my research paper about intercity train dwell time estimation by using robust regression method. First, I would like to tell you why we need to estimate the dwell time. Dwell time is important issue to design not only for train efficiency but also punctuality. Dwell time is essential issue in train scheduling. In 2017, PT KAI transported approximately 2,400,000 people in Surabaya and Yogyakarta line, and it increased to 2,800,000 in 2018. And for the 2019, until September, they have transported 2,093,000 people. Surabaya and Yogyakarta line is serviced by 13 transit, with the longest of total dwell time is 1 hour and 8 minutes for 13 stops, and the shortest total dwell time is 15 minutes with 4 stops. Although there are 45 stations in Surabaya until Yogyakarta line, there are only 19 stations service the passengers' activity to boarding and alighting. With the shortest dwell time on station, only 2 minutes, and the longest dwell time on station until 23 minutes. The objective of this paper is to estimate the effective intercity train dwelling time for passengers flow in service station. Data collection. We use two type of data in here. First one is secondary data from Daob 8 Surabaya as a regional office for PT KAI for some line in Surabaya, Yogyakarta line. The data from the Daob 8 Surabaya is passengers data and current dwell time for Surabaya to Yogyakarta line. And for the primary data, we collect door number on one-sided train set in unit and type of platform for each station, and we count the dwell time in each stop station with a stopwatch. We use this type of form for onboard observation. In this on second column, we wrote the type of platform. There are three type of platform. There are low level platform, mid level platform, and high level platform. And for the boarding and alighting in person, we collect data from onboard officer and updated by Daob 8 Surabaya. For time platform clear, we observe when the platform is free from the passengers who intend to abroad to or alighting from the transit. And transit arrival, we note in the form when the transit enter the station area, and we note train departure time with the time the transit leave the station area. For the note column here, we choose none or ops. It indicates that in station there are no boarding or alighting passengers. We choose ops because the dwelling time in the current station is for operation only. For data analysis, for estimate the model, firstly I use ordinary least square, and I conducted tests for the OLS for the linearity, normality, heteroscedasticity, and multicollinearity. And I identify the outlier and the influence data with the leverage, coexistence, and the effects. After some tests, we got that the data is violence to the assumption. So we use robust regression here. We use M estimation method with Huber wave function as estimation and MM estimation. To determine model, we choose mean average percentage error as a parameter for each model. The result for all of statistic calculation are output with the Stata version 16. In here, we can see that the door number of transit in Surabaya and Yogyakarta line is minimum 12 door unit and maximum is 18 unit, excludes the door number in dining car, wagon, and generator car. For the boarding passengers, we get 0 passengers boarding, and maximum we get 386 passengers boarding from the station. And for the alighting, we get 0, and for the maximum we get 493 passengers. Because
3 minutes left, Puspita.
Yeah.
Would you
Because
bit a bit faster?
yes, because of the platform is qualitative data, we use dummy variable, um, low level platform, mid level platform, and high level platform, with the low level platform as the base of data. The result is called correlation matrix. We get that the boarding or lighting and type of platform significance influence the dwell time. And the normality test, we get that it's not normal with the probability of Z below of 5% error. And here we got that the data is not homogeneous from the heteroscedasticity test and the multicorrelated test. It's good. We can ignore the dummy variable here. It's all it's all layer for the data, the effort, and this is for the Cook's distance. I'm sorry, it's table is error. The result for the leverage in and residual plots here, we can see that there are many data is identified as outlier, and the result for each method, we get that the OLS have uh, four, three variable significance to the dwell time, and as M estimator, we get that four variable significant to dwell time, and we got the mean average percentage error comparison between model. We got that a robust regression with M estimation have lowest value. So this method was chosen to the model. And while the model is applied, we got the saving per transit here. There are 18 minutes saving time for Argo Willis and 23 minutes time for Sanchaka.
1 minute left.
Discussion. Dwell time study on Surabaya-Yogyakarta line transit estimation by using statistic approach has been resulted model with robust regression method due to violation OLS assumption on heteroscedastic and normality test. And in addition, outliers and average were presented. With 2.04 mean absolute percentage error, robust regression with M estimation is taken as dwell time method in this paper. And based on the model, passengers who alighting need lesser time than boarding. By using high-level platform in station, dwell time will be reduced to 0.01 second. And there are unpredicted factors which affect dwell time by 76.95 seconds. By using this dwell time model for Argo Willis and Sancaka Pagi data, while the observation was conducted, the dwell time in the station can be reduced to 21 minutes for Argo and 27 minutes for Sancaka Pagi. Conclusion, by using robust regression method, the dwelling time for passengers activity can be estimated to produce the effective time for certain number passengers lesser than dwell time which is applied on Surabaya-Yogyakarta currently. Recommendation, future studies for other variables which affect dwell time such as door gauge, gangway gauge, and all high probability variable need to conduct. Thank you for opportunity.
Thank you for the presentation. Okay. And then now continuing with the next presenter. I think the ID number 137, Sutoyo, with the title of Design of Strong and Durable of Flexible Pavement on Road Segment with the Heavy Traffic and Overload. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay, I am ready, Bu Hera.
Okay. 10 minutes, Pak Toya. Your time. Okay. Please use your time now.
Thank you. Screen. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
good afternoon for everybody. My title of paper is Design of the Strong and Durable of Flexible Pavement on Road Segment with the Heavy Traffic and Overload. I'm Stoyo as a road and bridge engineering expert, applicable department of highway in East Java province. Yeah. In general,
Pak Toyo, I think you haven't share your paper. Your there is no nothing yet. Would you share?
okay.
Yeah.
It's already. Sorry.
As a,
Share screen.
yeah.
Yes, already, Bu.
Now, okay, nice.
Okay.
And using your, I think it's better make it bigger, please.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah. In general, flexible road pavement in Indonesia are not strong and durable in surface lifetime. That marked by the surface condition type are rutting, soughing, potholing, bump, longitudinal, and transverse direction. Sink in. Like this picture, this is the artillery road in Pantura Java, National Artillery Road. This is also the segment of Gresik, Lamongan. This type of damage, one of the type of damage. This segment is location in East province. The road in province in Tapat Ploso, the location. It is also this is the location that I have investigation in this road. Three type of the road damage criterion. One, rutting. Rutting is over asphalt thickness film. Usually if we use the thickness film between 9 to 12, it's okay. But more than 12 micron, its rutting will be available. The second, too many volume of the aggregate portion. For the three type of surface pavement, ACBC, ACVC, AC wearing cost, asphalt wearing cost, asphalt binder cost, and asphalt base cost. The wearing cost usually use the portion of fine aggregate more than 50%. So it is very weak, and the maximum of the martial stability not more than 1,000 kilogram. So based on the Mr. Indra Surya guidance, the Marshall stability must more than 10 times of the tekanan roda, tekanan ban. And the third is time loading and temperature. The rating is based on the time loading and temperature. The second criterion of the road damage is deflection. Deflection can cause by the thickness of the pavement construction layer. The second, material quality of its layer pavement structure. And the third is density of the layer thickness. The three cause of the deflection is like that. And the third criterion is correct. Asphalt aging and total repetition of axle single axle load in service period. How to avoid or minimize the road damage? One, provide a layer stabilizer. The second, provide the single layer type of surface, base and surface. And the third, provide asphalt surface that are resistant to rotting and heating. A layer of stabilizer is 20 centimeter thick of sand layer. To anticipate the vertical movement of the subgrade force due to its development, particularly for the subgrade that have expansive soil. The second, controlling heavy traffic load that tend to be excessive. The sand layer is easy to adjust the shape of the surface direction of the load acting on it, and or in other words, sand is able to neutralize several types of the workload. The load pressure becomes very small along with the thick layer of the sand. So it's as a layer of stabilizer. The following criteria of the sand layer is: one, the weight of loose content of at least 1.2 ton per cubic meter. The second, sand equivalent value at least 50%, and passive number 200, maximum 10%. As much as possible, there is no play on that sand layer. The second, provide the layer type of the subbase, base and surface. Subbase and base course must be spread with single layer using heavy compaction, minimum 25 ton. Use the vibratory roller. Usually in Indonesia, for compacting the subbase and base course, use the vibratory roller just 10 ton, not more than 25. It is with the load, the layer must be a double layer. I think if the design 30 centimeter, so if we use the vibratory laurel with 10 ton, must be spread by 2 layer, 15 centimeter and 50 centimeter. But the single layer more rigidity and more rigidity than the 2 layer with the same thickness. The heavy compaction produce a high degree of density and save excess compaction energy in the form of rigidity of pavement layer structure. It will be able to support the overload without exceeding the permit deflection of the existing pavement surface. The same thing also applies to overlay of the surface layer in order to obtain more strong structure. Even in surface layer.
Toyo, would you please a bit faster, please?
Okay.
Your time is very limited.
Okay. Just the third must be provided asphalt surface that are resistant to rotting and bleeding. Asphalt concrete base with minimum Marshall stability 1,080 kilogram. Designed with interlock base bonding mechanism between cubical cost grain will be able to survive indefinitely as long as cost aggregate grain do not wither. Bonding system based on the mechanical or interlocking can minimize the function of the asphalt as a binder, so that the surface layer is not affected by aging factor of the binder. To anticipate macro texture and micro texture problem, the asphalt concrete base must be spread with a minimum thickness of 8 centimeter. In this investigation, we try to be 15 centimeter. The asphalt mixture, asphalt concrete base gradation as shown in table below. Thickness of asphalt covering must be 10 until 12 micron. Has mixed performance like the table below. This is gradation of asphalt concrete base like that. The last on AC this, yeah. The maximum size is 37.5 millimeter, like this. The properties of AC asphalt concrete base. The volume of the rongga dalam campuran, ya, void, ya, the volume of void, asphalt concrete base and asphalt bearing cost, also binder cost, is the same, minimum 3%, maximum 5%. So all the type of the surface cost, bearing cost until this cost is the same void. Marshall stability minimum is 1,800 kilogram. So that is properties of the AC base. The structure, the design structure of strong and durable flexible pavement use the single layer of asphalt concrete base 15 centimeter, cement treat base 30 centimeter, sub-viscose 30 centimeter. This is geotextile below the sand, yeah, below the sand, upper the subgrade. This must be changed here, below the sand. The sand as a stabilizer.
1 minute left, Pak Toyo.
Okay. The sand will as a stabilizer layer at 20 cm. Conclusion, the accumulation of the three strength of the pavement structure as analyzed above can be referred as excess energy stored in flexible pavement system in the form of stiffness and will work when the load exceeds the plan so as the be able to provide service according to the age of the plan with small maintenance costs. That's all my preparation. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Toyo. Would you please close your presentation?
Belum itu loh.
Okay, let's be continuing with paper ID 170 Akbar Bayu Krisno with the title is Demand Analysis at Tanah Grogol Airport, East Kalimantan. Okay, are you ready, Akbar?
Yes, I'm ready, Bu.
Okay, 10 minutes for your presentation. Now is your turn.
Okay, wait.
You okay? Can you share
Yes,
your
yes.
presentation?
Yes, I will share. Wait. Mm. Enggak, bro. Okay.
I think your presentation hasn't shared yet. Okay. Okay. Starting from your title, I guess.
Okay. Just wait.
Anyway, you can start, I guess.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Good afternoon. Let me introduce myself. My name is Akbar, and I am a master student in civil engineering at Institute Technology Seoul November. Now I will present my research entitled Demand Analysis at Tanah Grogol Airport, East Kalimantan. In this figure, the first figure, this picture is the location of the Tanah Grogol Airport, which is the airport that I reviewed in this research. This airport is an airport proposed by the Pasir Regency regional government to facilitate community activities in and out Pasir Regency. And then in the second figure, it can be seen in second figure that the Pasir Regency is located in East Kalimantan province in the southernmost part. Then in third figure, the following is a look at this airport through Google satellite imagery. Then the fourth figure, if I draw the detailed layout of the airport itself, which is shown as shown in this figure. Okay, this is my research background. The first one about time travel. During this time, the people of Pasir Regency have to take a long time to travel between regions. To make the trip, the people of Pasir Regency can only use land transportation such as cars, motorcycle, and bus. Moreover, if you have to travel outside the island, such as Java Island, the people of Pasir Regency are required to go to the nearest airport first, which requires a very long travel time. For example, the travel time obtained to get to Balikpapan is around 5 hours, and then to get to Banjarmasin is around 9 hours. It shows in first feature, and then the second is about airport competition. With so many airports in East Kalimantan and the distance or coverage of service that are so close together, so that it will share with the other airports around it. This will affect the airline that have possibility to assign flights to each airport by considering the characteristic of each airport and the demand patterns. Therefore, the development of Tanah Krokot Airport also needs to consider air travel from the surrounding area, neighboring regions, and the nearest airport. And the third is about economic and tourism sectors. This is the presence of this airport is expected to support the growth and improvement of these two sectors in Pasir Regency. It is expected that there will be an increase in tourists as well as entrepreneurs or business people who come or to activities in the Pasar district itself. If there are people or foreign tourists who want to travel faster, they can use the airport. Both of the sector also have large influence on how much demand is obtained for this Tanah Krokot airport. Okay, this is the formula. Sorry. This is the formula used in calculating this accessibility. From the accessibilities land, air accessibilities, and regional transport accessibilities. This is sorry, with my screen is hang. For the next is about demand analysis. Nah, in this data, I use the binary logistic regression. After the data is analyzed by binary logistic regression using the SPSS program, that produce this equation. From the equation, data from the survey results are included to determine the probability and WTP values. This is about willingness to pay, and then the results of this calculation are probability is 67.41%. This is the percent of WTM, willingness to move. And then the WTP is about 344717. Sorry, I have a presentation error. And then the conclusion, the development of Tanagrakot Airport has an influence on the accessibility of regional air transportation to the surrounding airports. Before the existence of this airport, the value of regional air transportation accessibility in East Kalimantan province was 684.016. With the Tanah Grogol Airport, the accessibility value of regional air transportation has increased by 7.62%. The value to 736.134. This means that the development of Tanah Grogol Airport has the potential to increase regional accessibility in terms of land and air accessibility in the East Kalimantan region. And the second, from the interview survey results that have been analyzed binary linguistic regression statistic, the results obtained in the form of a large percentage of the probability of transfer of demand from the existing airport to Tanah Grogol Airport amounted to 67.41%. Variables that affect, among others, namely the variable level of income, variable origin of the trip, and then the variable vehicle commonly used, and the variable cost of travel. That desired level of tariff is also obtained at about 344 717, whose value is less than the operational cost of the aircraft per unit output of about 40,000. This condition is quite difficult in setting rate because it means that the general public cannot afford the service offered or is too expensive, so that the airline is disadvantaged. To anticipate this, the government must intervene by setting tariffs that are smaller than the WTP, willingness to pay, and at the same time provide the intensity of subsidies to the airline in order to get profits. The form of subsidies can be in the form of tax subsidies or fuel subsidies. Thank you. Thank you for the attention. That's all my presentation. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Akbar. Would you please turn off, close your, okay, then. Okay, and then now we come to the last presenter. Sorry, is it Raymond Ismi or Husaini still has arrived?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, then we come to paper ID 173, Michael Kasov, with the paper title Analysis the Use of Steel Slag as Replacement of Natural Aggregation on Flexible Pavement. Are you ready, Kasov? Okay. Okay, Kasaf, 10 minutes is your turn now. You can start your presentation.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. I hope you stay healthy and keeping well. My name is Michael Kasap, and I am graduate student in civil engineering, Institute Technology November. Now I will present my paper entitled Analysis the use of steel slag as a replacement of natural aggregate on flexible pavement. Background: the aggregate is one of the most important components in aggregate asphalt mixture, so that there is a large extent of aggregate needed, considering that infrastructure development in Indonesia continues to increase. Thus, the aggregate available in nature has begun to decrease in amount. In addition, the use of large amount of natural aggregate causes damage to the environment. Solution: therefore, new material innovation are needed to overcome this, such as the use of steel slag as an aggregate in asphalt mixture. Making this mixture was developed from previous studies. In previous studies, the addition of steel slag was used with a mixture of 10%, 20%, and 30% battery 2019. So it needs to be developed with the use of more slag steel aggregate to reduce the massive use of natural aggregate. For the reason, the study was conducted to add the use of steel slag aggregate in mixture of coarse and fine aggregate. Steel slag is included in the waste of dangerous and toxic material. In 2019, Indonesia will produce 40,000 tons of slag waste from the steel refining industry. Therefore, the handling of this waste must be done immediately. One method for recycling this waste and preserving natural aggregate source by considering the concept of sustainable development is to use in road construction. And then research purpose, the study aimed to develop a research framework to gain more understanding of steel slag aggregate to replace the use of natural aggregate. Research method. The method in the research is testing the characteristic of steel slag material used as aggregate for road pavement mixture. Material check are carried out to determine the characteristic of material used as a mixture that meet the pavement specification in the specification. Tests conducted include abrasion value with Los Angeles machine, specific gravity, absorption, and affinity aggregate of asphalt. In this research method, the prepared aggregate is then mixed with asphalt using the Marshall method following the 2018 Bina Marga specification. Asphalt mixture version in this study are version 1, 100 natural aggregate, version 2, 50 slag aggregate, and 50 natural aggregate, version 3, 80 slag aggregate, and 20% natural aggregate, version 4, 100 slag steel aggregate. And this is a result of steel slag characteristic. Based on table, it can be seen the value of slag aggregate characteristic obtained meet the specification so that the aggregate can use it in asphalt mixture. After KEO is obtained, after that, testing is carried out on the specimen using optimum asphalt content, then Marshall tests are performed. This is a value of KEO for variation 1, 2, 3, and 4. In table can be seen the optimal asphalt content values in variation 1, 2, and 3 have met the specified specification. However, variation 4, the optimum asphalt content cannot be determined because the film and the FR values cannot meet the 2018 Bina Marga specification. After KAO is obtained, after that testing is carried out on the specimen using optimal asphalt content, then Marshall tests are performed. Marshall testing on optimal asphalt content was carried out to determine the best Marshall characteristic in the each mixture variation. Marshall KEO testing is only on variation that meet the 2018 Bina Marga specification. Based on table, can be seen the value of the characteristic of Marshall produced at its optimum asphalt content. The effect of steel slag give different result on its mixture variation. The test result using optimum asphalt content show that all variation of the mixture have met the specification set by Bina Marga 2018. And then this Marshall test analysis impact from slag or stability value. The use of steel slag as a mixture of pavement tend to increase the value of stability. It can be seen in figure that the highest stability is found in an 80% slag steel in mixture of 20.18 kilogram. It can be seen that the stability values in its variation still meet the minimum limit 1800 kilogram. The density value continues to increase with increasing level of slag steel in the mixture. The highest density found in the addition of 80% slag steel mixture of 2.99 gram centimeter cubic. The value of point in mixture on its variation of the mixture has made the specification requirement. Film the value continues to increase with increasing level of steel slag in the mixture. This is because the steel slag is porous, causing more capacity volume in the mixture. A good film value is needed to provide enough space for the compaction process caused by traffic load. The values of PMA in each variation of asphalt mixture have met the specification. PMA value continues to increase with increasing level of steel slag. This is due to the nature of the slag.
3 minutes left, Kasa.
Okay, ma'am. Slag steel which has a capacity porous so that the fine aggregate fraction in the mixture does not fill the empty capacities between the aggregate. And then Marshall test analysis PFA. The values in variation of the mixture has fulfilled the 2018 Bina Marga minimum limit of 65%. The use of steel slag aggregate in the mixture tend to increase in the PFA value. The flow value in each variation still meets the specification requirement. The flow value decreases with increasing level of steel slag in the mixture. Mixture that have low flow values and high stability tend to be stiff, brittle, and prone to cracking, while mix that have high flow values and low stability tend to be plastic and easily deformed due to traffic load on them. Conclusion, testing for the characteristic of steel aggregate values meet the 2018 Bina Marga specification standard, so that slag aggregate can be used as a pavement mixture for flexible pavement layer. The low abrasion value in steel slag aggregate can increase the stability value in the mixture. The resulting characteristic value for all variation with optimum asphalt content with meet the specification. The addition of steel slag aggregate in the mixture result in a higher density, PMA, Marshall equation, and stability value. This is caused by the characteristic of the steel slag, which is hollow and irregular in shape, causing good bonding interlocking. The highest stability value was found in the addition of 80% slag steel in the amount of 20.18 kilogram. Based on the result of the study, the use of slag aggregate in asphalt mixture can be an alternative to the use of natural aggregate. If the use slag aggregate can be applied, this will help protect nature from damage caused by a continued use of natural aggregate. The use of slag aggregate can also be an effort to reduce waste that can be damage to the environment. Okay, thanks for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, everybody. All the presenter has presented the paper. Actually, should be 8 presenters, but 1 hasn't arrived yet. So, which means only 7 presenters. Before question and answer, would you please applause for ourselves and open your video because we have where we will get the photo session. Thank you very much. Would you please open your video? Okay, Has, are you ready for photo session? Mbak Rizky, what should we do? Okay. Muhammad Nasir, are you there? Bintoro, Suprayitno, Muhammad Nasir, would you please open your your video? Wah, ini Bu Ervina kayaknya nggak mau nih. Oke, Mbak Hos, are you ready, Mbak Hos?
Okay.
Okay.
Be ready for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think we have 2 screens.
Okay.
There are 16 people.
One screen is enough.
Okay then. Okay. Yeah. Muhammad Nasir has opened the, but I haven't seen the sprite now.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. And now we continue with question and answer. Would you please send your question on the chat room so I can read one by one. Now we're continuing with question and answer. For the first question, to go to the moment, I have to read one by one. Paper ID 130. Wahyu,
Yes.
is it both method use the same data to do the analysis?
Okay. Okay, thank you for the question. For the data, some are the same, some are not. Indonesia method needs GPK, track system, signal service time, travel time, and train speed. While UIC method need GPK, signaling and block system, track system, signal service time, rolling stock data, travel time, and train speed. That's all. Thank you.
Which means you are using at the same data for both analysis then.
For the same is like GBK track system, GBK signaling and block system, travel time, and train speed. And the other one is like rolling stock data is different.
Okay. So, okay. Okay, and then other question goes to Pak Sutoyo. Pak Sutoyo, are you there? Pak Sutoyo di mana ya? Pak Sutoyo?
Yes, yes.
Okay. The first question, when you decided to add an extra sand layer in between of asphalt and subgrade, did you aim more for stiffness or the flexibility of the layer? This is question number one. And then the question number two,
Okay.
you have an extra requirement for the asphalt apart from muscle stability to take into account the resistance to rotting and the aging issue. Can you following Pak Toyo?
The first question must be repeated.
Okay. Question number one, when you decided to add an extra sand layer in between of asphalt and subgrade, I think you have like layer. Did you aim more for stiffness or flexibility of the layer? I mean, I think this is the question is about the aim of the extra sand that you put into between asphalt and subgrade.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I try answer the question in bahasa Indonesia saja.
Because this is the people that ask about the question is Christian. So I don't think Christian, can you understand about Indonesian language? I don't think he understand about Indonesian language. So better you express in English. But okay, anyway, try to express that. If you need to open your paper, I think you can do it as well.
Oke, ya Bu ya, saya jawab bahasa Indonesia supaya lebih jelas. Nanti kalau tak jawab bahasa Inggris malah nggak jelas.
Oke, oke.
Jadi gini Bu, analog dengan pembangunan pembuatan fondasi rumah Bu ya. Jadi sand layer, jadi lapisan pasir itu gunanya memang untuk stabilisator daripada beban-beban yang terjadi baik dari vertical rise akibat expansive soil maupun beban yang berasal dari overload. Saya anggap lapisan pasir itu adalah berfungsi kayak gini Bu, kayak umpama mur baut itu ada ringnya. Nah, ringnya itu ring yang ada jenis pir begitu, sehingga ada beban model apapun dia akan kuat dan tidak akan runtuh. Karena apa? Karena pasir itu mudah menyesuaikan bentuk. Makanya beban berat pun dari atas maupun dari bawah, maka pasir itu sebagai stabilisatornya. Itu fungsinya.
So is that mean that your sand is not for is it for stiffness or flexibility? Or
flexibility for stabilisator.
Flexibility.
Stabilisator, yes.
Yeah. So the function of the extra sand for the flexibility.
Yeah, flexibility.
Okay.
To control all the load, even from traffic load or excessive load, also from subgrade not unstable subgrid.
Have you proved this? Have you proved? Sudah dites, Pak?
Oh, sudah Bu, sudah.
Oke.
Bahkan ini sedang dalam pengujian ini Bu. Makanya tadi lokasinya yang saya cari yang lokasi yang paling parah. Jadi pasir itu berfungsi untuk menstabilisasikan beban-beban baik dari atas maupun dari bawah. Jadi stabilisator. Makanya saya sebut sebagai layer stabilisator.
Okay, so it's mean for flexible. Okay then.
Yeah.
Question number 2, do you have an extra requirement for the asphalt apart from massa stability to take into account the resistance to rotting and the aging issue?
Oke, ya sama juga saya jawab dengan bahasa Indonesia saja Bu, supaya enak nanti. Jadi gini, prinsipnya yang namanya lapis permukaan itu kan ada 3 jenis, wearing cost, binder cost, sama base cost. Nah, selama ini yang digunakan sebagai lapis permukaan itu hanya wearing cost. Double gitu loh Bu. Ada base cost, ada binder cost, ada wearing cost. Tergantung daripada kebutuhannya. Nah, di sini Bu, karena menurut teorinya dari Pak Indra Surya bahwa yang mampu menerima beban kendaraan terberat dengan tekanan ban lebih dari 160 PSI itu adalah dikalikan 10. Jadi marsal stabilitasnya itu harus minimal adalah 10 kali tekanan ban. Sehingga yang bisa mencukupi itu hanya AC base. Mengapa AC base? Karena AC base itu minimal adalah 1.800 kilo. Sementara ACWC, ACBC itu hanya 1.000 aja. Paling tinggi dengan menggunakan aspal modifikasi itu hanya 1.200 sampai 1.400. Itu sudah paling tinggi sekali. Dan yang lebih penting lagi dalam ACBC itu adalah ada interlock antar butir kasar, itu yang paling menentukan. Jadi makanya kami sebut sebagai forever, kayak perpetual pavement. Sehingga selama batu itu tidak pecah, tidak mengalami pecah, maka itu sampai dengan 40 tahun itu tanpa memelihara dengan flexible pavement tadi itu.
So which mean you give extra requirement for the asphalt?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully it could answer all the querying from, the wondering from Christian. Okay. And then the last question is for Michael Kasab. Are you ready, Kasab? Are you there, Kasab? Hello, Michael Kasab. Are you still there?
Hello.
Okay then. Okay. Will you conclude the application of steel slag to be beneficial or not? Which doses with the recommended? Since we can see that improvement is not that significant. However, the density is up quite drastically. Okay. So what your opinion, what your conclusion of the steel slag to be beneficial or not with doses which you recommended? What the doses that you recommended to make it beneficial?
My recommended for 8 stack slag steel in the mixer is sebesar 80% slag steel in the mixer, ma'am, because with the at the 80% slag steel, the result Hager stability value in amount of 20.18 kilogram.
So which means your recommendation is about 80%.
80%. 80% slag.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you have three compositions, 50, 80, and 100.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, the time is very limited for all of us now. Reach the end of the session. Again, thank you very much for your present, for your paper, for your attending this session. I think we have to close this first session, and you can join for the next session using a different link. Again, apologize if any inconvenience incur. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.